Hello YouTube, just a quick vlog here of my new motorcycle for you. It's the 2017 Kawasaki Z1000SX in Kawasaki green, of course. I've had the bike 6 months now, so I just thought I'd do this quick vlog and let you guys and girls know what I think of it. It's got quite a few updates from the 2016 model. It's got the LED lights front and back. It's got the IBM inertia measurement unit, IMU, which measures the angle of the bike and the speed of the bike, etc, etc, for the ABS and the traction control. So you've got two-stage traction control, and you've got a low and high power, and of course you've got ABS. It's got all the gadgets on it, and it's so far a really nice bike. From a display point of view, you've got everything you need. You've got an analog rev counter, you've got a gear position indicator, you've got the time of the day, you've got your full power and low power options, temperature, fuel gauge, you've got your odometer, and you've got 2 trip meters and of course a speedo, and you've also got a average mile per gallon, instant mile per gallon, and a range mile per gallon, so you can see how long you've got left. You've got starter, you've got your kill switch on that side, and then on here you've got selection button for all your gadgetry, your power modes, etc. You've got your high beam and your low beam indicators, hazard lights and a horn. It's 140 brake horsepower, it's an inline 4, 1043 cc's, and it's got a 0 to 60 of about 2.8 seconds, something ridiculous like that. So yeah, it's a right piece of kit, to be honest. I think it looks gorgeous. I had the Kawasaki sliders put on it, just in case I have a mishap. Other than that, this bike is completely stock. Quite gorgeous to look at, in my opinion, but you know, everyone has their own thoughts on the bike. The screen's adjustable, I'll show you that. You've got 3 positions. You just press this little button down here, press that down, you can have it in sports mode, as I call it. Then you can go up a notch, or you can go up even further. I always keep it in the highest one if I'm doing any motorway work, keeps the wind off you. So, should we take her for a ride? See what this baby can do. Lovely sounding engine. It's got the stock exhaust on it, but still got quite a nice grumble to it. So let's roll. I won't edit that out, I'm always doing it. Bit of lunchtime traffic, so you'll have to excuse the queue. Yeah, so I've had the bike 6 months. I've done 1,660 miles. Not a lot, I know, but I've been off work not too good for a couple of months, so just getting back out on the road and getting fighting fit again. So, but yeah, this last week or so I've clocked up a few miles, getting used to the bike, and it's fully running, of course. It's an absolute beast of a bike. It's acceleration and what have you is just way beyond what you'd ever use on the road. It goes like off a shovel. The power delivery starts at about 3,000 revs, and once you get to 5,000 revs you basically hear this howling noise. It's like a werewolf on steroids. And at that point you're just hanging on for dear life, because this thing absolutely rips. I don't give it loads of beans myself, I'm not a bonkers rider, I'm more an appreciator of nice bikes. But yeah, this thing absolutely flies. But not only that, it's very stable as well. It gives you confidence when you're riding the bike. It's from a size point of view, when I'm sat on it and riding, to be honest with you, it feels more like a 600 to me. It's very compact for a 1000cc bike. It doesn't feel big at all, but it feels stable. It weighs in at 235 kilograms. So it's not light, but it's not heavy. But it's planted on the road. It gives you quite a confident feeling when you're riding along. What else has it got? Well, let me tell you, it's got a 19-litre petrol tank, so you get a range from that of approximately 170 miles. It's doing an average of about 43-44 to the gallon, which I'm not that impressed with, to be honest. But I reckon once the engine slackens off a bit, maybe in another 1,000 miles or so, it might go up a bit. I believe they do about top is about 40, 47, 48. So maybe get to that in 1,000 miles or so. But yeah, that's the only part of the bike I'm slightly disappointed with. I got this after having a 1250 Bandit for a couple of years, and I was going to keep the 1250 Bandit at first, basically just because I know they're a good bike and they'll last forever. I thought, oh, I'll have two bikes and just go out on, you know, which one I think. But after riding this, there's just no way. The Bandit was in a different class and not a good class. It was nothing like this bike. Performance wise, handling wise, braking wise, gearbox wise, oh, you name it. This bike's just a streaks ahead of it. So, and it would be, because the Bandit's an old model. They discontinued it in 2016, the one I had. And this obviously is a nice modern bike, so there you go. And this is 10 grand. The Bandit was about 6.5, I think. So yeah, I got this on a really good deal as well, because it was a 2017 model. I got it for virtually £1,000 cheaper than the retail price. It's on an 18 plate, and the only difference between the 17 and 18 is the colour scheme. There's nothing different as far as the engine and the chassis and all the gadgetry and everything else is concerned. So, and I was happier with this green anyway. I like the lighter green. The 2018 green is quite dark. So for me it was a deal all round. I got this for 9.3 on the road. And yeah, good deal. And I'll be hanging on to it for a while as well, because I've been looking around for a second bike, but every time I take a test ride on something, I'm comparing it to this bike, and there's nothing that seems to sit with it at the moment, in my opinion. Just from a comfort point of view and riding position and performance and just the general feel of the bike, this is an absolute rock solid machine. The gearbox is extremely slick. There's no missed gears or anything like that. There's no quick shifter on it, so I suppose you could say that's an improvement that could be made. But I believe if you put a quick shifter on a bike that's not had one installed factory wise, it's got the potential for knackering your gearbox, because the gearbox isn't made to take the clutchless changes right. So I won't be putting a quick shifter on this. I'll be doing what I've always done for the last 30 odd years and changing with the clutch, which is no big deal to me. It's fine. So what else can I tell you about the bike? Cruising on the motorway, no problem, obviously. 75, 80. The only thing I would say is, when you're cruising on the motorway at that sort of speed, it's revving at about 5,500, 6,000 revs, which I think is quite high for this size of engine. So I'd say the gearing's a little bit too high, really. I think you get the benefit of that from your acceleration, because it does it absolutely blistering. It blisters off the start line. I mean, it's ridiculously fast. But once you're on the motorway, you pop it in 6th gear. The Bandit 1250 was ticking over at 75, 80 at about 3,500, 4,000 revs. Well, this, like I say, this is 5,500, 6,000 really, so I suppose the mile per gallon suffers a little bit. Could always re-gear it, I suppose, but can't be bothered. I'm keeping this pretty much stock. So it's on a PCP deal, so I'm not going to mess about with it. It'll be someone else's bike in 3 years anyway, so But yes, a lovely bike, no complaints whatsoever. If I stay feeling like this, then it probably won't be someone else's bike in 3 years. I'll probably buy it outright and keep it, because it's one of them bikes that if you sell it, you're going to regret it. I'm not so bothered about future technology really. What I've got on this bike is plenty. I only ever use the traction control really when it's raining, and I always keep it in full power. I've never used it in low power. I generally turn the throttle less if it's raining. I don't really bother with the low power option. I think it drops the brake horsepower to about 100, so it's not a massive difference anyway. You're only losing 40 brake. And there's a Bandit, speak of the devil. Nice bikes. So yeah, that's the Kawasaki Z1000SX. If you was thinking of buying one of these bikes, I'd say if you're looking for a bike that will do everything really well, then this will be the bike for you. Because basically it does. It'll get you to the shops, it'll get you to Scotland and back, it'll get you around Europe and back. Probably a couple of hours in the saddle you might have a bit of a sore backside, but that's how I am anyway. But I'm 6'1" and 11.5 stone, so there's not a lot of meat on the bone. If you got a bit more padding, you'll probably be alright. But the stock seat, yeah, it's a little bit hard, but yeah, 2 hours. I mean, that's not so bad. You're probably ready for a brew anyway by that time. So, but yeah, if you're looking for a bike that'll do everything pretty well for you, this is definitely one to look at. And like I say, the feeling of it being a small compact bike but with a 1000cc engine, I think it's a great deal. It feels fantastic. So there you go, that's the Z1000SX. I'm going to get on the motorway now and go for a blast, so I'll leave you guys and girls to it. Thanks for watching the video, and if you've got any comments, pop them down below. Cheerio, bye bye.